The capital city of Orania shimmered under the morning sun, its towers proud and its streets filled with murmurs of a strange wind blowing from the mountains. None knew that destiny had begun to stir, none except the tyrant who ruled from the royal palace, Lord Malric. Malric was a man of cold eyes and colder heart. He had stolen the crown 17 years ago in the dead of night, leaving the kingdom broken under his rule. He believed the last heir had died in the flames of the old palace. Until now. He sat stiffly in his throne as a guard rushed in. "My lord, there's a girl in the main courtyard. She bears the royal crest." "What crest?" Malric growled. The lion and crescent, glowing. His blood ran cold. Outside the gates of the palace, people began to gather. They had heard rumors. A girl wrapped in moonlight walking barefoot through the capital, wearing a simple dress and a shining tapestry draped like a cape. It was Alara. No guards dared stop her. Her eyes burned with something ancient. Her very presence stirred something in the hearts of the people: recognition, hope, loyalty. When she stepped into the palace gates, she was no longer just a maid. She was a queen in the making. Inside the throne room, Lord Malric stood from his seat as she entered. "You," he snarled, "are an impostor." "No," Alara said, calmly. "I am Alara, daughter of Seraphina. I have come for what is mine, not just a throne, but a kingdom healed." He laughed cruelly. "You think wearing an old tapestry makes you a ruler?" "No," she said, "but truth does." She pulled the tapestry from her shoulders and cast it forward. It floated mid-air and unfolded, glowing bright. The crowd watched, stunned, as images came alive on it. Queen Seraphina placing a crown on baby Alara, Malric's betrayal, the burning of the palace. Gasps filled the room. Even the royal advisors fell silent. Malric lunged forward in fury. "Lies! Illusion!" Alara raised her hand, and the moonlight flared around her, casting a radiant shield. Malric's sword struck it and shattered. He fell back, shaking. You're just a servant girl." "No," she said softly as she stepped forward. "I was a servant to your lies. Now I serve only justice." Guards hesitated, then one by one, knelt before her, then the nobles, then the people, and Lord Malric, he fled, cowardly and forgotten, into the shadows. Days passed. A coronation bell echoed through Orania. Alara stood at the balcony of the restored palace, wearing a crown not of gold, but of silver and moonlight, her mother's crown. The people cheered below, but her heart remained humble. Later, as she walked through the palace gardens alone, she passed a mirror. She paused, not because of how regal she looked, but because she still saw the same girl, the same maid who once scrubbed floors, who had sung forgotten songs, who had no idea she was born to lead. The maid who wore the crown. She smiled to herself, and the kingdom of Valerian was never broken again. The golden trees whispered like old friends as Alara stood at the edge of the forest, staring at the ruined palace ahead. Her legs trembled beneath her, but she forced herself to move forward. Each step toward the broken structure felt like walking into the arms of a forgotten past. The palace ruins were silent but alive with memory. Stone pillars lay cracked and tangled with vines, yet some walls still bore the crest she had now come to recognize: the lion and the crescent moon. Inside what had once been a grand throne hall, moonlight filtered through shattered stained glass, windows. Dust danced in the air. She walked slowly, fingers brushing the stone walls. Her heart ached, not with sadness, but recognition. Her soul knew this place. Then came the voice again, soft but clear. "You came back." She turned sharply. An old man stood near the steps of the ruined throne. He wore tattered blue robes and his silver beard flowed to his chest. But his eyes, piercing and gentle, sparkled with ancient knowledge. "Who are you?" Alara asked cautiously. He bowed deeply. "I am Thalen, keeper of the bloodline. I've waited 17 years for you." She blinked. 17? Thalen nodded. You were taken the night house Ilarion fell, betrayed from within. Your mother, Queen Seraphina, ordered me to protect your soul and guide you home when the time was right. Ilara's knees nearly gave out. She was real. I saw her in a vision. She lives no more, Thalen said softly. But her spirit lives on in you. A moment of silence passed between them. Why did they hide me? Why not fight back? Thalen sighed. Because the prophecy demanded your silence. It was said that the moonborn heir shall awaken only when her heart burns for truth, not revenge. You had to find your way here with your own courage. Ilara lowered her head, overwhelmed. You have the mark, he continued. Only the true heir can touch the tapestry of echoes and awaken it. You did that. But I'm just a maid. I don't know anything about ruling or magic or anything. You know kindness, humility, and strength. That is the blood of queens. Thalen stepped forward and placed a hand on her shoulder. The kingdom needs you, Ilara. The usurper, Lord Malric, who destroyed your family, still rules from the capital. He fears your return. Ilara looked up, fire blooming in her chest, then let him be afraid. In the days that followed, Thalen trained her. She learned how to unlock her memories, to read the old tongue, and even summon moonlight to heal wounds. The ruins became alive again as her power grew. The trees sang louder, and the wind carried whispers of her name to distant ears. One day, while exploring the library ruins, she found an old painting behind a fallen shelf. It was a family portrait. Her mother, regal and fierce. Her father, kind-eyed and tall. And between them, a baby wrapped in silk, smiling. Her tears rolled down her cheeks. She wasn't just reclaiming a throne. She was restoring a legacy. That night, she stood atop the cliff, overlooking the valley. Tomorrow, she whispered, I return to the capital. Thalen stepped beside her. Are you ready? Ilara looked at the stars. I was born ready. They just didn't know. The morning after the storm brought silence with it. A thick, heavy silence that clung to the walls of Lady Marine's house. Ilara woke earlier than usual, her body moving on instinct, even though her mind remained tangled in the words she had overheard. If she is who we think she is, what could that mean? Was it a mistake? Or had her entire life been built on a lie? As she tiptoed through the quiet corridors with a broom in hand, something caught her attention. Something odd. Lady Marine was not yelling. In fact, she wasn't anywhere to be found. The master of the house, Lord Henrik, sat in his study, whispering to a guest with the door slightly open. They're getting too close. You must burn the letters, the man said. Lord Henrik nodded. And the tapestry? Destroy it. If she ever sees it, it's over. Ilara paused, heart pounding. What tapestry? The guest left moments later, cloaked just like the one she'd seen the night before. When the coast was clear, Ilara crept toward the study. She wasn't sure what she was looking for, but the feeling in her chest told her something was buried. Here, something meant to stay hidden. Inside the study, everything looked untouched. Polished wood, silver-framed maps, and a large worn tapestry hanging on the far wall. It had always been there. Old, dusty, ignored. But now it pulsed in her eyes like it was alive. She stepped closer. The tapestry showed a sprawling kingdom, beneath a night sky. In the center stood a golden castle, its tallest tower bathed in moonlight, and in the sky floated a symbol she couldn't ignore. A lion curled protectively around a crescent moon. The same symbol from the black carriage. Then she saw it, embroidered in the corner in faded thread. To Ilara, daughter of Ilarion. Her breath caught in her throat. It was her name. The letters shimmered faintly, as if responding to her presence. She reached out with trembling fingers. As soon as her skin touched the fabric, a gust of wind exploded from the tapestry, nearly knocking her back. Visions slammed into her mind. She saw a woman, tall, graceful, her eyes soft as candlelight. My daughter, the woman whispered. They took you from me. The vision changed. A castle burning, soldiers shouting, a baby crying in a golden crib, a traitor with a scar down his cheek shouting, "Hide her, before the king arrives." Then darkness. Alara gasped and stumbled. Back. Her knees hit the floor. She couldn't breathe. Had she just seen her mother? The door behind her burst open. Lady Marine stormed in, eyes wide with fury. "What have you done?" she shrieked. Alara stood, voice trembling. "You lied to me. All these years. You knew." "Who am I?" Lady Marine's eyes flared. "You're nothing but a mistake. You were supposed to disappear." Suddenly, Lord Henrik appeared in the doorway, holding a pouch. "It's too late. She's awakened the bloodline." Before Alara could react, Henrik pulled out a glowing stone from the pouch and threw it to the floor. Smoke erupted. Alara coughed and stumbled backward, but before she could flee, darkness swallowed the room. When she woke, she was tied to a chair in the cellar. The only light came from a candle flickering beside a small chest. Inside it sat the tapestry, folded, glowing faintly. "Once we burn it," Henrik muttered, "there will be no proof. The kingdom will never know she lives." But they had underestimated her. The moment his hand neared the chest, the tapestry flared again, blinding him with a burst of light. His scream echoed through the cellar. The ropes around Alara's wrists dissolved. She grabbed the tapestry, pressed it to her chest, and vanished in a whirl of gold. She landed hard on soft earth. Around her stood ancient trees with golden leaves and whispering wind. In the distance, atop a waterfall cliff, stood the ruins of an old palace, its broken spires, still noble. A voice echoed in the wind. "Welcome home, Princess Alara." In the grand city of Orania, nestled between silver hills and endless rivers, there existed two distinct worlds. One, the towering palace of King Aldrich, a place of silk, servants, and chandeliers. The other, the crumbling edge of the capital where people fought for clean water and warmth. And in that poorer part of the city lived a girl named Alara. Alara was no more than 17, yet her hands were rough with labor, and her eyes carried a wisdom few dared to look into. Orphaned at a young age, she had worked since she could walk. Now she spent her days scrubbing marble floors, carrying water jugs taller than herself, and answering the cruel calls of her employer, Lady Marine, a wealthy merchant's wife who lived just on the outer edge of noble society. "Alara," Lady Marine's voice sliced through the quiet air of the estate. "You forgot to dust the silver again, useless girl." "I'm sorry, my lady," Alara whispered, lowering her eyes. "You're always sorry. One more mistake and you're out of this house." That house wasn't kind, but it was shelter, so Alara bit her tongue and worked harder. Despite the hardships, Alara's soul remained unbroken. She loved to hum to herself while cleaning, often singing tunes she never remembered learning. Songs of the wind, the stars, and the river. Once the gardener had told her, "Your voice doesn't belong to this world, Alara. It's like royalty," she had laughed. Royalty doesn't scrub chamber pots, but even she couldn't deny the strange dreams that haunted her. Dreams of golden halls, a woman's voice calling her, "My daughter," and a crown made of moonlight. One rainy night, while fetching water, she saw something she wasn't meant to. A black carriage with a golden crest, a lion with a crescent moon, pulled up in front of Lady Marine's house. It was an emblem she had only seen once, in a tattered old book from the market. The royal seal of the lost house Ilarion. The driver was cloaked, his eyes hidden. He handed Lady Marine a scroll. "You're certain the girl lives here?" Lady Marine glanced nervously at Alara through the window, unaware she was watching from behind the rain-soaked garden hedge. "She works for me," she replied. "But she's just a maid, nothing more." The man's voice was calm, cold. "If she is who we think she is, you won't be able to keep her hidden for long." Then they were gone. Alara couldn't sleep that night. A storm raged outside, but her mind spun faster than the winds. Who was she really? And why would anyone be searching for her?